So Lucas, what are we talking about in today's Wikipedia weekend?
We're talking about the Turians.
Oh, you can tell you're doing another playthrough of Mass Effect right now, can't you? Karl, let's talk about Mass Effect again. Okay, sure. So Lucas, as is your usual style, would you like to introduce today's topic of conversation for the lovely audience? And I want to take a big old sip of coffee, really awkwardly.
We are talking today about the Turian race from Mass Effect.
And we'll be referring mainly to the Turian Wiki page on the Mass Effect wiki. And as we discussed in the Krogan video we did, there's just so much denseness to the lore of Mass Effect that's really fun and interesting to explore if you're a huge ass nerd like me and you.
Yeah.
So Lucas, before we continue, thoughts on the Turians?
I think they're really fucking cool. I was about to say the first word that came to mind was honourable, and then I went, wait, there's Saren.
The most dishonourable person in that entire series, man. The thing I love about Saren though is that he's evil and he loves it. Every encounter you have with him is just being a disdainful, sneering dickhead, and you've got to love it. You've got to respect.
He's like a proper hammy villain.
He is. He's great. It's almost like the Mass Effect series is a space opera, and not an action series. And I don't get why I try to turn it into an action game. When it's when I much prefer it as a campy space opera where you're romping across the galaxy with your friends. Anyway, let's start as we so often do at the beginning of the Wikipedia article, which reads: known for their militaristic and disciplined culture, the Turians were the third race to join the Citadel Council. They gained their council seat after defeating the hostile Krogan, the council during the Krogan rebellions, which we no doubt mentioned briefly in the previous Krogan video. But man, the council. Every additional piece of lore you learn about that universe makes them out to be huge pricks.
Well, I was just thinking then, I didn't realise the Turians were the third member. Did the council start out as one race just going, we are the council?
Yeah, I think it was the Asari first, then the Solarians, and then the Turians only got to join if they lent their military might to the council and used it to defeat the Krogan, another race that the council had used for its own ends. And that's why, at the end of Mass Effect 1, I never, ever feel bad about that choice you get. Should we save the civilians or should we save the council? And I always think back to all those dressing downs I got from the council for going out of my way to save people.
Yep.
That weren't critical to the mission. Because Shepard, you need to see the bigger picture here. And the bigger picture here is the council's not all that important. And I just like to imagine they're so salt about that.
Oh man, but I hate, obviously at the end, after Saren's defeated, I think, it's like, oh well, as humans, we could just take over the council. It's like, no, because that's not the point of what we've been trying to work towards the entire game.
And I think something that game does really well is make you just have the same kind of disrespect for authority that Saren does, because the council are a bunch of arseholes, and I distinctly recall, the very first mission you do in the game, you save a bunch of humans, and the council give you shit for it and go, it's funny how the human saves humans, not really a spectre material, are you? And it's like, the fuck are you talking about?
Yeah, it's I save civilians.
You save civilians, what? Not spectre material, are we? Oh no, hero material though. Fuck being a spectre. Originally from the planet, do you want to take a guess at what this one is, Lucas?
I can never remember the planet names.
Okay, it's Palaven, or Palaven, depending on how you pronounce it. Turians are best known for their military role, particularly their contributions of soldiers and starships to the Citadel fleet. It was the Turians who first proposed creating CSEC, but they are sometimes seen as imperialist or rigid by other races. Yeah, I can see it.
Yeah, I mean, they seem a bit more fucking organised than other races.
Yeah, isn't that the key reason Garrus joined you? Because I'm so fucking sick of red tape.
Yeah.
The bureaucratic nonsense I have to deal with as part of CSEC is super annoying. Can I please just come with you and shoot people?
Because it's well, you're a Spectre, you can just bend the rules to your will. Whereas CSEC, it's I know I can go take this guy down, but CSEC won't allow it. It's
oh man, why do they keep making me use due process? Why can't I just shoot criminals like you, Shepard? It's oh, Garrus, man, come on. There is some animosity between Turians and humans, largely due to the Turian role in the First Contact War. So I'm not, how familiar are you with the First Contact War?
Yeah, I'm not overly familiar with that.
I think it's covered more in a book, but basically when humans first discovered the mass relay, they saw the Turians oh my god, these aliens, and tried shooting them. Which, yeah, sounds about right for humanity as a whole. So, oh look, another race, should we try communicate with now, shoot them?
The thing is, Karl, you got to respect the Turians because they've got the strongest warrior in the entire universe.
Who's that?
Marauder Shields.
Who's Marauder Shields?
Like, the final boss of the third game.
Oh, I never got to the end of the third game. I heard about the ending and went, fuck that.
Basically, the last enemy you shoot or get attacked by in Mass Effect 3 is just a normal Marauder that has shields on it.
Is that it?
And that's the last enemy you fight.
That's the culmination of 3 games, over 100 hours of gameplay is one guy with a gun.
Yeah.
How fitting. That's like the end of John Wick, isn't it? Where he has that amazing shootout in the nightclub. He has that awesome thing, that awesome fight in the church, and the last fight is against an old man in the rain. So kind of a letdown for, given what we've experienced so far, but I'll deal with it, I guess.
And it's it makes sense, I guess, because, Mass Effect is more of a narrative-driven game for the most part, but it's what's the final boss of the game? As a Marauder.
Just a guy on his own.
Okay.
Though, Lucas, that guy had to do some shit to get to the level he is. That guy has secretly got super good stats, you just didn't know it. We'll move swiftly on to a section titled Biology. And there's a picture here of a naked Turian, and it makes me all kinds of uncomfortable. So when you edit this, Lucas, please put the picture of the naked Turian behind me, so the audience can feel just as uncomfortable as I am. And I'm going to scroll straight past that. Turians typically stand over 6 feet tall, have 2 long, proportionately thick fingers and an opposable thumb on each hand, each tipped with talons and a set of mandibles around their mouths. And Lucas, with that description and the image of the Turians you have in your head, would you like to take a guess at what the behind-the-scenes inspiration was for the Turians?
To me, they always kind of looked a bit like a grasshopper.
Okay, they do have an insectoid appearance about them, but I believe the inspiration was birds of prey specifically.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so I'm sure that'll get covered in the trivia section, but I'm almost positive that's what the design inspiration was, birds of prey.
Yeah, because to me they always kind of looked like bugs.
Oh, man, they're still pretty fucking cool though.
Oh, they're really cool.
So it says here, the most distinguishing feature of Turians is their metallic carapace. I did not know it was metal.
No, I didn't know.
They're covered in metal, which contains trace amounts of thulium. The Turians evolved this trait as defense against the greater levels of solar radiation that penetrate their homeworld's weak magnetic field. So they are resistant to radiation just by default. That's fucking sick. Again, so cool! Mm-hmm. And you know what the best bit about this is? This universe barely gets fucking explored, but Star Wars gets 1 million comics. One of the reasons I love Mass Effect is they don't conform to one of my most hated sci-fi tropes. And that is that every planet has a single weather system or climate.
Yeah,
in Star Wars, you go to Hoth, it's an ice planet. Okay?
Although, to be fair, there is Norvaria looks a lot like that.
There is, yes, but at least though, they put some more effort than none at all into building explanations for it. It's why is Hoth cold? Because it's hot, it's Hoth. Why is it called Hoth? Because it's got the word hot in it, and George Lucas is a bad fucking writer. Okay. At least in this, they put some thought into why the aliens look the way they do. It's so why do they've got a weak magnetic field on their home planet?
Oh yeah, rather than just this alien looks like that because it's an alien.
And there's a great story told by someone who's working on the prequel trilogy about, do you know the fight scene Yoda has with Dooku or the Emperor?
Oh yeah.
There's a bit in that where he gets stung by a lightsaber and there's a little bit of blood.
Oh, right.
We don't know what colour Yoda's blood is. We better ask George Lucas, and George Lucas just shrugged and went green. And that's the amount of thought he put into that world. And then you've got the writers for Mass Effect writing literal pages of details about alien races that you can completely miss and ignore.
Yep.
And my favourite one is about the Elcor. You know, the big, huge elephant-looking creatures, and it says that their planet is almost completely flat because they've got super high gravity.
Oh right.
And that's why they don't move very much, because there's so much gravity. It's not worth moving. It's so awesome! What a neat little detail to explain why those creatures are the way they are. Anyway, and Lucas, just out of curiosity, what's your favourite Garrus moment in Mass Effect?
I'm not quite sure, but I'm replaying Mass Effect right now, so I'm going to be reminded very shortly.
Alright, so for me, it's the bit where you get the option to miss that shot, to make you feel like he's got a big dick.
Oh, yeah.
You're just on the top of the roof of the Citadel, just shooting shit. Literally shooting the shit, and you get the option. Is it a Paragon option to miss the shot?
Is it a Paragon option?
I think it's a Paragon option to miss it, and a Renegade one to hit it. Because Garrus is feeling all dejected, oh man, I've not had much adventure since we saved the universe. You make you feel like his dick is big, and it's like, oh, or you can take the shot and just fucking crush it and make him just all sad and like, oh man, Shepard's still the best. Shepard's woman dick still fucking dwarfs mine. Males and females do not greatly differ in physical appearance, but female Turians lack the crest horns found in the males of their race. The lifespan of a Turian is similarly comparable to that of a human, which I didn't know.
No, neither do I.
No, so they do live roughly the same amount of time as a human, which is what, 100 years in the Mass Effect universe?
Roughly, yeah.
Yeah, because they talk about it, don't they? Say, like, yeah, we've discovered like a few new things, like for medicine, that's made the human lifespan a bit longer, but not that much longer.
Yeah.
We're not up there with the Asari, like 1,000 fucking years. Lucas, I've got 2 more subheadings here, one reading history and one reading culture. What would you like to cover next?
I always like jumping into the culture.
Since the Unification War, which has blue letters and is incredibly tempting to like tap, so I can talk about Mass Effect for another 45 minutes, but let's not. Let's move on.
Okay.
Turians normally wear elaborate tattoos marking their colony of origin. Oh, I did not know they were tattoos. I just thought they were markings.
I wasn't sure whether they were tattoos or not, but it's interesting that it's like marking their place of origin, so like they can easily identify, I guess, someone that comes from the same place.
Yeah, I just thought it was similar to like birds or like I guess humans. Like people have different skin tone based on where they are, and also like birthmarks and things like that.
Yeah.
Like they just tattoo that shit on their face, like fucking that's metal. Literally, they've got metal carapaces, man. Does that mean like technically, like Turians are bulletproof?
Not bulletproof, but I think fairly resistant.
It says here, like, these markings are usually white, but on Turians with dark carapaces can be of other colours, such as blue for Garrus or red for Nylene Kandros. What colour markings does like the legendary Turian Marauder have?
I don't know. Acid rounds in his face.
Oh. Lucas doesn't give him a chance. Here's my max level end game party against this one dude. That's like going back in Pokemon, isn't it? After you've beaten the Elite Four and you're just like traipsing around Pallet Town going, yeah, check it out. All 6 badges, Elite Four. And that one bug catcher you missed at the start of the game challenges you. It's like, well, I've caught 3 Caterpillars. Well, I'm sorry, lad, but you are about to just have a fucking guillotine on this bitch.
Oh my god.
It's just that moment of bug catcher sends out level 3 Caterpie. Like trainer Big Dick Legend sends out like level 100 Gyarados. Caterpie uses tackle. It's not very effective. Gyarados uses hyper beam. Caterpie fainted. It's like he fainted. Here's something I didn't know. The lack of any facial markings is looked down upon in Turian society. The Turian term barefaced refers to one who is beguiling or not to be trusted. It is also a slang term for Turian politicians. That's so good. That's so fucking like top tier that. Oh man.
Yeah.
Oh, there's just something about the idea of just alien slang that is incredibly amusing to me. Skin tone, similar to Mordin Solus's own, are apparently attractive by Turian standards, the male Turians at least. Complimenting a potential partner's waist or head fringe seems to be a way of expressing attraction.
Yeah, man.
So, hey girl, loving that head fringe. You got it going. I like though it says waist or head fringe, which makes me believe that Turians also appreciate a gigantic slamming ass. So Lucas, discuss the idea of Turians totally being down with gigantic slamming asses.
I mean, I don't know what to say, but clearly FemShep's good enough for Garrus, so...
Well, the thing is though, FemShep would be good enough for Garrus. Like, I saved the fucking universe. Like, there's no better aphrodisiac, is there? I still get mad though every time I complete those games like, once again. And I always forget to feed my fish and it pisses me off.
Oh no.
Like you come in after the final battle and you go into your quarters and your fish are dead. Like, god damn it! Could no one just feed my goddamn fish?
I saved the entire universe and you couldn't look after my goldfish.
So I always just like end up, I think once I just screenshot it and put it on Twitter of like I saved the universe, but at what cost? So it says that Turian society is highly regimented, like no fucking shit, and very organised, and the species is known for its strict discipline and work ethic. Turians are always willing to do what needs to be done and always follow through. They're not easily spurned to violence, but when conflict is inevitable, they only understand the concept of total war.
Oh my god.
Yeah. They do not believe in skirmishes or small-scale battles. They use their massive fleet and numbers to defeat an adversary so completely that they remove any threat of ever having to fight the same opponent more than once.
Holy fucking shit. Like, don't piss off the Turians.
They do not exterminate their enemy, but so completely devastate their military that the enemy has no choice but to become a colony of the Turians. Oh, that's fucking brutal!
Oh my god.
The thing is though, have you ever heard like what the Solarians do? Because the Solarians think that's stupid. And if you go to like the codec in the very first game, you even get like a nice readout of it by, you know, a very good voice actor, where he talks about the fact like Solarians think that declaring war is stupid. Why would you do that? Because then your opponent can make like, you know, like provisions for what you're about to do. And it says that every single conflict the Solarians were involved in started with a completely unexpected blindside attack by their entire military at the same time. Which usually ends in less than a day, because what they do is they launch every single attack at once and then they decimate their communication structure completely without warning. It's like, don't fuck with the Solarians or the Turians.
That's even more brutal, just like, oh, what happened? We got wiped out and didn't even fucking know it was coming.
Yeah, it's like turn 1, level 3. It's, oh god, no. It's theorised that another conflict between the rapidly advancing humans and the Turian could annihilate a large portion of known space. Jokes, obviously humans are similar in the sense that we never back the fuck down and we will raise this to the ground to like make sure other people can't have it. And I feel like we've got a good grounding of what the Turian are all about there, Lucas. So we'd like to skip, as we often do, to the trivia section at the end.
Yeah, let's find out a bit of trivia about Turians.
Okay, so Turian is based on the word centurion. Now I heard that, I can hear it.
As soon as you say it, yeah, like, fucking of course it is.
Roman centurion, like the Roman legion. And Palaven is based on Palatine Hill, as well as the word paladin. Turian names, culture, and military doctrine also mirror that of the Roman Empire, especially their emphasis on colonising enemies. Now that that's said, that makes perfect sense, and I'm kind of annoyed I never noticed it.
It does, yeah.
The Turian culture public service was inspired by the Terran Federation, the human society described in Robert Heinlein's novel, Starship Troopers, which is probably not a good thing to be inspired by.
Maybe not.
Because people who just watch the films, like, don't read the graphic novel. It's not great. The Federation are not the good guys in that book, I'll just put it that way. Female Turians did not have in-game models until the release of the Mass Effect 3 Omega DLC, 5 years after the first game. I never noticed that. I never noticed that you never see a female Turian.
Yeah.
And it says here that it was because there was insufficient development time and memory budget to support 2 different versions of the same species. According to the Art of Mass Effect, Turian ships, a picture of which will be behind me now, incorporate layers of plates to roughly symbolise the feathered appearance of the Turians themselves. And that's I love little details like that.
Yeah.
Where the
there's no need to have that amount of detail, but it's so cool.
Oh, it's so fucking good. Turians are a playable race in the Mass Effect 3 cooperative multiplayer mode. And then finally, in Mass Effect 3, the mission Tuchanka Bomb, a Turian shot by a sniper is shown as having red blood. In all the instances, Turian blood is portrayed as blue. So clearly, that's a big dick Turian. That might be the Marauder right there. He's a special Turian. And that's the end of it, but god damn do I fucking love talking about Mass Effect. It's so good.
Hell yeah.
It's like, you're playing through it all again, aren't you, right now?
Yeah, so I'm only like just at the start of the first game, but by the time this goes up, I've been quite into it.
Oh man, and what are you going for? I need to know. What's the play style? What's the plan?
The plan is we're going through as like FemShep, you know, the only choice. So when I say I'm going as, you know, Renegade FemShep.
No, should we clarify this from last time? I mean, you have talked about this, and when we say we play Renegade, we mean we just pick more Renegade choices than Paragon choices. Because
yeah, and Renegade, it's kind of like, oh, a badass that doesn't let people get in the way.
Yeah, which I guess was probably the intended idea behind Renegade. It's like you can either play as a Paragon, like you play as a good guy, like, you know, the goody two-shoes hero, or like the loose cannon, no nonsense cop.
Yeah.
But because Mass Effect is a video game and subtlety is not exactly the forte.